What's good, everybody? It's your boy JB. Nine Deuce representing JB Speak Easy, the black platform once again, where black men speak freely and black people speak freely. I am your host, JB Nine Deuce. Welcome, guys. Once again, it's so good to be in your presence once again. Thank you to the audience. Thank you, guys, for all 141 subscribers. When you guys watch this on the replay, I appreciate you so much for supporting the show. But I got a special treat for you guys today. I'm doing a part two. I should have put it in the title, but there's a part two I'm doing called Grooming. The black teacher having the students touch his hair, the whole grooming situation with the black teacher having the students touch his hair. That's going to be the first topic. The second topic is going to be a clip I'm going to play by Theo Vaughn, like a comedian slash radio personality. And he said a real topic about people supporting you always being there for others, but others and in turn aren't there for you. And then, it's actually quite an interesting subject. But I also have another treat for you guys. I'm going to have my cousin come up, and he's going to be joining me, guys. We discussed this thing about grooming. Was the black male teacher using those students to do his hair, was it innocent, or is it more deeper, more on the pedophilic level? Is it innocent or more pedophilic? Right now, I'm going to bring up the clip just so we can be ready when my cousin comes on. Here we go. It's a Fox 11 interview, and I'm going to go ahead and get into that. But once again, to continue my synopsis of what I said last time, it is improper, inappropriate, and just a invalid practice of a teacher to try to have students personally groom your hair. Because at the end of the day, first of all, where do you have the time to even try to get students to do your hair? I remember when I was in school, we had 2 hours in there with the class, and we had to cram a lot of stuff within that 2 hours just so we can make sure we met the curriculum for the year. We only have 180 days, 2 hours per day, and then you have 6 periods. So I'm thinking, in what world do we have enough time to where a teacher can stop teaching to somehow get these girls to braid their hair? There is no time, is what I'm pretty much saying. There is no time. And it's very inappropriate for any grown man to think it's okay for little girls to put their hands in his hair, because if you think about it, that's a kind of an intimate act, if you get what I'm saying. Like, if you are dating a woman, and let's just say you have long, like I dreads. Sometimes my girls played in my dreads or twisted my dreads. I've seen some of my homies' girls, they did hair, like they have a salon or something, they'll do their hair, playing their hair. It's more of an intimate act, unless it's like your hairdresser or something. That's a whole other thing. But I'm just saying generally. So with that being said, you see how I can give this weird vibe that kind of, I guess, it can draw a curiosity that continues to go down this rabbit hole. I'll give you an example. If you watch the video, they're gonna make it seem as if it's okay, it's nothing wrong with it. He's just sitting there looking bored. But I have a problem with it because it's like you don't have enough situational awareness to understand that this is inappropriate. You're like, common sense didn't tell you that. And then in addition to that, there's a follow-up video I was looking for, but I think they took it down off of YouTube, where he did a response. And in his response, he was trying to make it seem like he did nothing wrong, and then using this word I can't stand, which is called being unapologetically me or some crap. He said some stuff that just, to me, it's like as a adult, but just specifically as a black man, you shouldn't say. There's some things in public that should never fly out your mouth, even if you think it's right. And as a teacher, you have to always make sure there's the balanced line of respect, the student-teacher relationship of respect, and lines and boundaries not being crossed. That's lines and boundaries not being crossed while maintaining the balance between the student and the teacher relationship. But I would have loved for y'all to saw what I saw. Well, now I don't really love for y'all to see it, but it was like, it was so disgusting. This teacher really did a follow video saying that y'all making it weird. Me and my he said these words. He said, "Me and my students have a friendship. They're my best friends." Now I don't know. I was told that when in situations where you don't have children, you can't speak on it. But I would just like to think and ask any of the males in the audience, and I'm specifically saying the males because I was father. Because I know as a man, if I was a father. If my daughter's teacher came to me and said, "Oh, nah, you making more out of it, Mr. Brown. It's okay that your daughter, Joshisha, put her hands in my hair. It's cool for her to do that." But I'll be ready to tackle him to the floor. Like, wait a minute, what you mean my daughter's got her hands in your hair? No, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. It's out of line, and it's a lack of respect of his own position as being the overseer of children. Because that's what teachers are until when you drop them off at 7:45 and they walk to school with her to 4 p.m. They are your overseers. My teachers, my principals, the security guards of the school were my overseers. Not like on some slave type term, but you even see that mentality of what that word, it's just the whole thing is out. So he basically made a video doubling down, talking about, "Oh, it's cool," and then he says something to being unapologetic. Now I hate when people use that because usually it's at the end of a statement where they know they're doing a very arrogant and disrespectful thing, and this is arrogant and disrespectful to get online and say, "Okay, everybody in the world is watching me and waiting for my response, and my response is you're unapologetic about having little girls put their hair in your hair for real." And that's why I would like to ask, because my cousin's supposed to be coming on. He's a father. I would love to hear what he has to say. Like, he has a son, but imagine if he had a daughter. Like, would you want your daughter? What would happen if a teacher just told you to your? Wait, I can't wait till you get on here. Let me save the question, Devin. If you're watching, I'm waiting on you, bro. I already got the clips ready, and then my second subject I'm gonna do is the Theo Von. Like I said, support who really got your back, and that's another. I'm gonna break these down because I might be on this other one for quite a minute. It's gonna be a minute. I'm gonna be on this one. You feel what I'm saying? But I want to get this Theo Von interview because I think a lot of people are gonna relate to that too. But here it goes, Theo Von. There we go. So when it's ready, I'll go ahead and click that. But yeah, it's a ridiculous time and era we live in. I remember when in school, there were always these situations where, there was an inappropriate touching of students by certain male and female teachers. It went both ways. It can go both ways. And it's been happening even since the days we were all back in high school. Because I remember when I was in high school, and this is why parents need to really watch who they have around their kids. I don't know if I should be telling this story, but, well, I'll say this. When I was coming up, let's put it this way. A lot of boys have stories about being with older women, some of them being their teachers, right? Some men have these stories. I also knew a girl when I was coming up. I'm going to leave her name out of it because she's a friend of me and I wouldn't want to do her that way. But I remember when there was a teacher that we had my 7th grade year. I'm going to leave his name out of this as well because when I was in 7th grade, basically let's just cut right to the chase. We had a porn star that was a teacher. We didn't know that until one of the guys in the class had brought this stuff up in class. Like, he was like, he said, hey, Mr. Whoopty Whoop, we're just gonna call him Whoopty Whoop. Mr. Whoopty Whoop is on porn. He's on what was the stuff? I forgot what the website was at the time. Booty Talk or one of those, right? He's like, you on Booty Talk? We all thought it was a joke, right? And until people started going and investigating my teacher, and they found out that this nigga was doing this kind of stuff, you feel me, on his spare time. Now, granted, you can do what you want in his spare time. It's a free country. But I do believe when you hold a position that is surrounded by children, you should be professional. I believe, now looking back at it, it was funny to us as a joke. This nigga do porn, blah, 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 blah. But now thinking back on it, because a situation like this that's happened in media make me go back to high school and say, well, there's any situation like this? This nigga was around kids. But here's the thing. I noticed that after that was announced, and it showed where my boy was at. Like, what are you doing watching these adult films? But you know how it is being young. But anyway, I was like, I showed that the girls kind of navigate. I had a female friend that was navigating towards my Mr. Whoopty Whoop. I'm trying to keep his name out. Mr. Whoopty Whoop. She was navigating towards him. And we all saw this and we all thought it was weird, but it was like, and I could have swore a couple times I thought I like saw some weird shit going on in that after class. Not seeing some weird shit, but like seeing her stay after class, like on some like it was real weird. But me, I'm the type I mind my business and stuff like that, so I don't really, But what is my point? My point is we have teachers that need to be schools that need to vet these teachers more properly. There are some people who have they have no business being around children. You get what I'm saying? They have no business being around children because at the end of the day, sexual deviancy is something that can definitely, it can have a way of perverting everything around you, especially when you're around kids. But anyway, let me see. I did. Yo, Deborah, I put the link in there. Well, let me do it again. But yeah, so in my humble opinion, I believe, and they ended up firing this young man. Which I rightfully so, because I'm a zero tolerance as far as that. That's why I gave those stories from when I was in junior high. I thought it was always weird, older dudes like being so comfortable around younger girls. Like it didn't sit well with me, and I'm pretty sure my cousin Devin's going to agree that it didn't sit right with him either. You know what I mean? But there's a golden link. I sent the link. I'm waiting for you to get on, Devin, and we're gonna watch this clip together. Watch this clip together. But yeah, my overall thoughts. I went on that long diatribe to just say this. There's a student. Oh, good looking out, bro. I don't know if you want me to say your name right now, but good looking out, bro. I appreciate you watching the show, man. Thank God for you, bro. I appreciate your dedication to helping me and supporting the show, man. Much love. But in the midst of what I'm saying, though, when it comes to this idea of grooming, because that's what that is, kind of. Because if you saw the second video, and I hate that YouTube took it down, there's a second video where he's doubling down like a pedophile about what he's saying. Oh, okay. About what he's saying about, it's cool and all that. But I'm going to let my cousin Devin come up here. What's good, Devin? I appreciate you coming to JB Speak Easy. Black Platform, Black Men Speak Freely. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. It's a lot going on, saying this morning I was somewhere else. I was handling business or whatever, but glad to have you back online. Let me ask you, Devin, have you in the last probably week, because I'm kind of late getting to this story too, have you been put on game about this grooming situation between this black teacher and these female students, and they were like picking in his hair and playing in his hair? Are you up on that?
No, but that's weird.
Absolutely. I knew you was gonna feel that way. I already knew. That's why I tried to get your thoughts on it. Now I got a clip here, and it's gonna present some interesting information that I think you and the audience might like. We'll go ahead and play. This is Fox. I know it's Fox, so they're kind of clowns in some of the stuff they do, but they got the article. They have the video here and they're talking about it on the panel, similar to what we're doing. We're gonna get into that real quick. All right, let's do it.
Command performance. First up tonight, the viral video that has started a conversation on boundaries.
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right.
Bonding for teachers and their students. Take a look at this. A high school teacher who goes by Jock Lee on TikTok posted it. It shows him sitting down while his female students unbraid his hair. There's been a very mixed response to it. Some praising him on building relationships with students, while others express concern that the teacher is allowing his students to get a little too close. Lee is now speaking out. He says the students were just helping him unbraid his hair to prepare for his next hair appointment. Lee says he didn't see any harm in this, but some are asking if he went too far. Joining us to talk about it, educators Damian Jones, Arnetta Murray, and of course the always outraged parent, Lewis Hunter. So Lewis, let's begin with you. Your thoughts about this?
I think it's inappropriate. I think it's misuse of authority.
Thank you.
This is a hygiene issue. All right, and that's what this teacher did. He made mention that 5 of his 100 best friends. You don't have 100 best friends. You have 100 students. You are a teacher. You are in a position of authority, and I think he undermines that authority by having kids do something so flippant as to do his hair during classroom time. I think it's inappropriate. I think that he should be disciplined for this.
I can remember a time when I was in school back in the civil rights movement, and
that long?
But I mean, if you even approach your teacher and try to touch, she's like, "Nah, get back."
It's too close.
But that's old school.
Yes.
Right.
But things have changed. Arnetta, your thoughts on this as an educator now?
It's contingent. It's when I read everything about it, basically he, got some permission from the parents. There's different things he's done. He's building a relationship. Now we understand what's going on. We don't trust a lot of people. A lot of things are going on. But if he got the approval of the principal, the parent, and all of that, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I personally wouldn't do it because it's risque. And so you just got to be careful. But he's building a relationship with those kids.
And just so you're clear, he got permission from the parents to put them on video.
Right.
Because he is a video creator on social media.
Right. But also, I think when I was reading, it was some other stuff he did that he got permission from. But I'm saying, look, again, at the end of the day, he's not doing anything inappropriate. It's out there. It's nothing hidden. And if the parents are okay with it, okay. But as he said, I agree about the germ issue.
We'll talk
but
about
again, if the parents okay, he's building a relationship with the children. And so again, I don't know. I'm just in between right now.
Have we become a jaded society as Americans, as those who watch social media? We're always seeing something extra. And he says, it's your problem that you see or feel like something is going on, and absolutely nothing is going on other than the innocence that you see. Have we become a jaded society?
Yes, I totally agree with that. But in my situation, I wouldn't be able to subject myself to put myself in that kind of position, especially with everything that's going on with teachers and kids in the news. Kids touching on you, no, absolutely not. My kid, since I'm an educator, with my students, I give them all fist bump. I don't even do hugs, just because I don't want to put myself in that situation.
No, that's right.
I want to put myself in that situation where it's got to come up where some kids say something wrong, because it might come a time when maybe he had to discipline that student, and then that student don't like the way he did. So okay, he touched me, or he said something inappropriate. That's a whole nother area.
But you wouldn't let him braid your hair?
No, sir. I don't have no hair. That's why I don't have hair.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. Now, you already kind of know what question I'm going to ask. Well, first of all, I'm going to state where I had a small problem first. I'm going to state.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
I understand that there are parents that were cool with it, right? But at the end of the day, it's inappropriate for a teacher to have kids touching his hair. They want to say people are making more out of this. No, it's all part of what that lady said. It's the perception of it. It's risky. Anything that's risky or risque, as she said, you probably should stay away from it. Can we agree with that?
In a sense, yes, but at the same time, where I don't see it a big deal is what he's doing is essentially protecting himself by recording himself. There's nothing, and showing that there's nothing going on here necessarily. And then he got permission from the parents. That's always going to be my biggest thing, especially as a person that my mom was a teacher, and I've had very close relationships with a lot of my teachers. Some of my teachers have even taken me out to lunch. So there is a fine line on it, and I do agree with the whole concept of we're getting jaded as a people because of what we watch on an everyday basis. Yeah, and I do understand the term "one bad apple spoils the bunch," but we are friends with me and you, Joshua, are friends with a lot of bad apples, and we're not spoiled.
Right?
You get me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, I don't agree with it personally because I don't think that's something that I would do. But I don't see it as there's a problem with this man. Hygienically, bro. Your hand shouldn't be in my hair. You don't know what I got. I don't know what you got.
Exactly.
That's where I see it as. But as if there's something of saying there's something going on here where he needs to be reprimanded for, no.
Okay, so since you did you see the first video with him doing hair? Because he did two videos, one a response and the first one that everybody's tripping about. Did you see either one of them?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you a little backstory. Currently, I'm a week late on this. He's been fired, and he did a response video.
Wow.
Yeah, he was fired. Yeah, because the perception makes the school look bad. It brings a lot of media attention, as we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So the school didn't want to look bad, so they said, okay, since there's a lot of controversy, we're just gonna have to let you go. Now, here's the problem. The second video, he explained, he does like not he does, yeah, content creating, and sometimes he goes to get his hair done and things such to that nature. And what ended up happening was he was late for an appointment or something, but he had to take his hair down, and so he needed them to do it that day, and there was no hairdresser available, so he had his kids do it. But in that second video, the thing that made me turn to the way I feel about this, which I feel is inappropriate, is that he was doubling down on what he did. He was unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? More like, well, that's kind of your problem if you think like that, the blah, blah, blah.
I mean, but Jay,
Mhm.
I agree with him.
Okay,
You
let
see-
me. I'm
so
gonna finish.
so. Oh, go ahead. My bad. My bad.
No, I'm gonna finish what he was saying, because in his video he was playing real like soft music right in the background and speaking with this very weird tone, and like he was saying stuff like, these are just, y'all making more out of it than what it is. These are my best friends, and you know they can come to me whenever they need something and blah blah blah. To me, that is pedophile type speech, because let me explain something about what I know, at least about pedophiles. They're not going to come off as that. They're going to make it real. Oh, it's just nice. It's this and that. Those type of terms coming from a man's mouth to little girls. You're my best friends.
Yeah, that's weird.
Exactly. And then, in the video, I didn't say this. In his first video, he had a pet iguana in his lap, and he was gripping it and petting it. The video looked very strange. That's why I think that if you saw the videos that I've seen, you'd have been like, nah, this is some strange shit. But my bad. You had something to add on to that before I go any further?
Well, see, with that information, yeah, that's weird. You don't call your students your best friends. Like me and a lot of teachers were close. Miss Octagon, Miss the substitute teacher, Miss Kim, like Miss Reese. I still
Miss Reese, I love Miss Reese. Yeah,
till this day go to check on Miss Reese. Miss
right.
Smith.
Yep.
But never once in my life have they ever called me their best friends.
Right. And that's where that line comes in, Devin. Like, I know you said that teachers are taking you out to lunch. I've had even that happen to me. But see, that's a little different than personal grooming, because think about it. When you get your hair done, right? First thing they do is what? They wash it. Like when I get my dress done, the first thing they do is wash it to get anything. They're just in class doing this man's hair because he was late for his appointment or didn't get an appointment. So they're not even doing it in a sanitary way, like how we do it, where they will wash it and stuff. So his hair's kind of still, I don't want to say filthy. It's obviously, it wasn't just dirty, but you know, that's just too. I don't know.
It has chemicals in it and all kind of stuff. So yeah, you have a point.
And then I was watching around YouTube, and there's a lot of fathers who commented on this. And because let's get to the parent thing, because you're a parent and you're a father, and I want to get your opinion on this. It seemed like there's a split between both parents. When you know how they just said on there, they said the parents were cool with it. If you were watching the reaction videos, there was a lot of like mothers that were responding to it. They didn't see a problem with it. But when I saw the father's responses, they were ready to kill this man. It wasn't even their children. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish your kid. Woo-woo. You even heard it in the interview.
See, bro, that's a lot of with that, bro. And because I've seen it with even some of my own friends that are parents. A lot of that stuff is just social media flexing.
You could be, yeah.
To be honest, I'm gonna be one of them parents that, just like my mom, I know your teacher. I can call your teacher's cell phone. So if you come to me as a dad and I feel your vibe and I understand who you are, okay, my daughter wanted to take your braids down. Okay, I know who my daughter is. She's probably at lunch doing it for some little boy because she's being nice. That's who my daughter is. Now, me knowing who you are as a person, you knowing that I'm crazy enough to walk in this classroom without any fair warning, you're gonna know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And the fact that you pick up the phone before it happened and said, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna be doing this TikTok because you guys know I'm a hair content creator. Your daughter wants to take my braids out, and she wants to be a part of my TikTok," because that's more than likely how that came about. I'm thinking as a child, you know, Alexis and Chloe, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the only reason. That's the only way I can understand a young teenage girl's mind is by experiencing and seeing what happened with the young teenage girls in my family, and that's exactly how that came about. All that social media masculinity is out the window with me. Now, if you're a freaking weirdo, I'm gonna know it. God's gonna place his hand right on my heart and be like, hey, yo,
Mm-hmm.
Dev, I know you, you know you, so let's just not even go down that rabbit hole.
Right. And I was gonna say this. It's not just social media flexing of masculinity. Because listen, I don't have children, and I found it inappropriate because I thought if I did have a daughter, like, see, here's the thing. Yeah, he did. He got the parents' permission afterwards. It's one thing if he did it called, but see, he wasn't gonna do that in the middle class. Call everybody's parents to say, "Is it cool?" He did that afterward, which means it was even weirder because it gets weirder because it's like that means you must have known because anything you have to get permission from or something, it's on that risky line. And I was kind of disappointed in some of the see, I don't want to make it seem like a gender thing, but I was kind of disappointed in some of the mothers because for this reason. In the black community, bro, there is a secret that we all keep. And that's the secret of pedophilia that happens in the black community. And it usually starts off because see, pedophiles never come off like I'm a pedophile. They come off like I can be the most trustworthy. They're deceptive, so they can have your cell phone number. They can have all this stuff and still have their secret intentions. No, nobody that's ever been molested was molested by somebody that it was just completely. I didn't know them. It had to be a friend of the family, a teacher, or something
Right,
like that.
right.
And so, any situation you look at like that, it's not just people like looking at it as is something wrong with us. It's we got people in our family that stuff has happened to by people we trusted and
I
and
feel
it
that.
used, you know.
And I'm
So,
gonna take it personal. And from a parent's perspective,
go ahead. Yeah.
a lot of those times, bro, they were single mother parents.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell me as a dad is letting anything like that happen.
Right.
Now I'm gonna take it a little closer to home without saying any names. There's somebody in my son's family who, when I walked into the party and I seen him playing with my son, I can't say any names. I flipped out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why I flipped out. I just seen something, I didn't like it, and I was in that man's face.
Mm-hmm.
And my girl had to come out and say like, hey, like what's going on? And I grabbed my son and I picked him up and I was like, we need to go talk in the room. And she kind of had a meltdown. It wasn't her, but she
Mm-hmm.
was like, how did you know? I'm his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna know. Plus, you better be lucky I know Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because that man would have been dead and
Uh-huh.
gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it just always I hate that we always come back to this subject, but this is exactly why it is important for a man to be a man
Absolutely.
in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dad goes, I'm provision.
Thank you.
I
Mm-hmm.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like I said, I'm gonna because Dominic starts school in August.
Mm-hmm.
You guarantee I'm in California on the first day of school shaking teachers' hands.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Devin Beer King. I'm his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any discrepancy, you will see this angry black face.
Right. Right. No, no, all just aside. Yeah.
So once again, it's like I said, as a parent, I do believe in good relationships with teachers.
Absolutely.
I believe a teacher because who my mom was. I believe that a teacher should be
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you trust, somebody that you have a good relationship with, and somebody that can ultimately help you make better decisions. I went to El Monte High School. You remember that
Yeah.
that fucking school. At
Mm-hmm.
first, it was one of the worst things for me. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I got a better relationship with. I had got some great teachers that helped me navigate through life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but that was as an adult. Once you start crossing the line with kids, it is a little weird. Once you start having a pet iguana, like you got an iguana,
Right.
my nigga.
And,
I mean, my
and he's
brother, my
petting it in
bad.
his lap.
Excuse my friends.
No, it's cool, and that's why I wanted you to see the video, because I think they took down his response video because that's the one where everybody zoomed in on him because he was like kind of making it seem like, oh, it's all good, but I didn't like the words he was using, like unapologetic and oh, these are my best friends and they could come to me when they need me. I mean, that seemed like an open innuendo to pedophilia.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
it was, and that's the what he's saying is right, because me and Mr. Vine, that's my dog.
Right.
He used to let us go on breakfast breaks
Mm-hmm.
when he knew we didn't have breakfast in the morning.
Right.
And I used to bring back my guy Taco Bell. Jack in the Box.
Mm-hmm.
That was my dog. I seen that man outside of school when I was an adult. We chopped it up like we were friends. But he never ever once said that Devin, you're my best friend.
Exactly. Thank you. You feel me? Because what I was
He
gonna say,
probably
Devin,
called me one of his favorite students, even at times one of his least favorite students. But yeah, so
mm-hmm.
you can't, if this was something innocent and harmless, you can't leave yourself open to any kind of attack. That was, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I wish you had seen the two videos because maybe the seeing it would have made you be like, oh, because Devin, don't think I disagree with you because at the end of the day, I believe in great teacher-parent relationships, great teacher-student relationships, but it all comes to that thin line. Like when
Yep.
you said, the teacher, Mr. Vine, you bought him Jack in the Box. That's cool. You know, or you let y'all come in a little. I had teachers like that that'd be like, come in a little late, as long as you do your work and get. See, that's still on the education and teacher student relationship. When you start putting your hands in people's hair and
Mm-hmm.
hugging, I guess is okay, but even that, it goes back to what that woman said about risque. In this day and age, bro, anything that looks, because men, we
No,
got.
not even in this day and age. Because as a grown man, I know she'll probably never hear this or see this, so I can freely say this.
Mm.
When I hugged Miss Obregon, that was one of them. I'm letting you know I like you hugs.
See, now here's the
So
thing.
I
Uh-huh.
get
Mhm.
I get the whole it's risky because if somebody seen if somebody put with one of the vice principals or somebody put two and two together on how Devin was hugging this girl on this grown woman and her accepting it,
They probably would have been on her, yeah.
so
Because Devin, I'm gonna say this though. See, and that also goes back to teacher relationships, teacher student relationships, but it goes back to adult and children relationships. Remember, I always preach there's a thin line, and my parents have always ushered that in my head that there's a thin line between grown-ups and kids. See,
yep.
even if you said, because I was a horny teenager too, there was this teacher, her counselor, her name was Miss Torres. Everybody at Blair, everybody wanted to fuck her. I did. I'm not going to be holier than thou. You feel me? I used to get in trouble because I wanted to go to her house, to her thing. She used to say, "Josh, you're such a handsome and smart individual." Da, 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 da. She probably knew that I had a thing for her, but what did she do as an adult? She turned my attraction and said, let me diffuse that by saying, you're a handsome young man. You're going to be something one day. Your parents love you, this, that, and the third. You
Yep.
see, as an adult, you're supposed to, while your kids
The-
thinking with a sexual mind, because, we're in that age, you're an adult that already been that age. You already know what's on our mind. So your thing is to try to diffuse it in all
Yep.
forms And Miss Tor, she knew all of us boys wanted to get at her. She knew that. So she kept her profession and tried to be as distant as possible, saying, yeah, you're handsome, but I'm still your counselor. And we're lacking that. And with all these situations where there are teachers getting prison time for touching boys, like I know you heard about the female teachers having sex with the boys
Yep.
and all that stuff. That's inappropriate. When we was at Mir, do you remember Miss Swift? She was the
Yep.
cute white. You know which one I'm talking? The cute white.
Yep.
Yeah.
I so do.
Mhm. Hey, everybody was trying to smash her too. That's why I used Miss Torres, but I should have used Miss I think not Miss
Miss
Schwartz.
Swift. Yeah.
Miss Swift, yeah.
Oh
The white girl.
Lord, you gave me sweats.
Uh-huh. The memories, right? A lot of great memories. But even with her, and I ain't gonna lie, bro, even I shot my shot at her, but what she'll do is act like she didn't hear me, or I'll say, okay, guys, okay. She'll just play it off and then get back to the lesson. And that's what we're supposed to do, because here's the thing, bro, about pedophilia. Sex, like we always talked about, is an intimate thing, right? I'm gonna go this far with it. When a adult does have sex with a child, it's detrimental.
And it
Let me point
changes
this
their
out,
train of
Devin.
thought.
It alters your thoughts. And this is what it creates monsters. Let me explain about what do you mean create monsters? Think about a young boy, bro, who has sex with a woman that's very skilled in sex. We'll put it like that. And she has sex with this boy and teach him some things. When he goes back to have sex with girls his age, he becomes a monster. No,
Hmm.
he becomes a monster because now he's more sexually experienced than the girls from
Hmm.
his age group that, he could. It's a turning out thing. I know you heard the term turning out. All
Yeah.
that goes back to my title, grooming. You know what I'm saying? And what that does is it alters the mind. And Devin, I'm not gonna lie, I have some homies that done had relationships with older women,
Yep.
and I'm not gonna lie, it's not to disrespect them. You know, one of the homies I'm talking about, his I could see by some of his sexual habits with the females he messes with and how his thought process is. And he told me what happened to him when he was little. I said, "Oh, okay, that makes some sense." Now, this isn't everybody's case, but I seen in his case where even psychologists said that when an adult has sex with a child, it's horrible because it ruins that person's perception of the opposite sex. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why, even though he didn't have sex with him, people have to understand nothing starts off like, even in the Bible says sin doesn't just start off with what you did, the sin. It starts with a thought. It starts with you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like one of those things. I wouldn't play with that. Even well, I'm not going to use too much, but I've been around other people's kids, and I try to still maintain this balance of, yeah, I'm cool, but you're still their child. You're still there. You get what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
eliminate any kind of risque type contact. You feel what I'm saying? My bad. I've been monologuing. What do you think about that?
No, you're good. You're good.
Mhm.
Um, you hit everything on the number on the head. The hammer with the nail. It is a fine line. It's hard to draw that line, but you have to have that line, especially as a teacher.
Right.
Especially as a teacher, well, your number one occupation is to be around and shelter and grow the minds of these young kids. That's
Absolutely.
dangerous, and you look bad now. And there's like you can't have good intentions with with an ill vision,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Ill vision meaning, yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're saying. Like, if you see things from a sick perspective, there's no way you can have a good intention because the way you visualize things is already tainted.
Right.
And
Or the way you made us visualize it tainted what you said. You have
mhm,
you we have to be out of the mindset of hearing. We have to get in the mindset of hearing and seeing.
right,
His words were correct, at least some of them, but the vision wasn't correct. Your body language wasn't correct.
right,
Your aura
absolutely.
wasn't correct. It's there should be nothing tugging at my spirit when it comes to you making yourself look better.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Because think about it like this, Devin. I'm not a father, you are. Remember, well, your kid is still kind of young now, but when he finally goes to school, I'm pretty sure, like you said, you're gonna be shaking hands with teachers and stuff like that, which shows you that as parents, you put your trust in the teachers because they're the parents. While you're at work, they're the next adult of authority that the kids have to, what I'm saying, respect. At least when we was coming up, like even my mom told stories, like back in our moms and dad's day, bro. Teachers had the privilege of whooping your kid when they got out of the line. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, what I'm saying is it speaks to the authority, the responsibility of the authority of an adult, and the kids as well as the parents are trusting you. And when you do stuff like this, it lowers the trust that parents have for the teachers, but more
yeah,
importantly, it lowers the trust of the kids because. Kind of, bro, I'm not gonna lie. This show is kind of dealing my idea with pedophilia because that's the vibe I got from it. And there's Devin, there's a lot of things I didn't tell you about a lot of friends that I know. I'm the confidant. God put me, I know my purpose is to be the confidant. And I'm only bringing up the scenario of pedophilia because it's a lot of secrecy. We always put that on white people. We put that on other races, but we never address ours. And it's usually when people are molested, like I said, it comes from people who are closest to that person. So we got to vet the people closest. And let's just say the teacher's not a pedophile. Let's just say he's just it was innocent. If me and you being good, godly Christian men, bro, if let's just say we did that, And let's just say we did. Let's, for example, the first thing I would have did was apologize. Why? Because I'm like, you know what? These people have a point. I am these teachers. I'm these students' uh, next of authority until they get back home to their parents. They're trusting me. So when this type of level of trust, I couldn't betray it being reckless. So if the parents that they said was so cool, I would have still apologized because I'm like, I should have thought about that better. I should have delayed my interview because he had an interview or something like that. That's why he needed his hair done bad. But it shows his bad time management because it's like, you knew a week ahead of time you needed to get ready for this interview. You know what I'm saying? That's why even I will hit you or Amy or somebody ahead of time and be like, okay, yeah, we're having this show tomorrow, you know, so you can get your thoughts. But that means even if you want to get on camera, get your hair and stuff together. My point is there should be never a situation where, like you said, my imagination gets to going or my thoughts get to going like, why are you calling my daughter your best friend? Why are
Right.
you calling my daughter your she confides in you? I'm her father. She's supposed to confide in me, not you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So that's
But
kind
see,
of
well, I wouldn't say why are you confiding, because honestly, sometimes I would hope that if there's something going on that my son is scared to tell me, that he tells the right teacher that will tell me without my son finding out.
right,
Because
right.
let's be honest, let's be real and realistic. We don't tell our parents everything, and that's just the truth. There are some stuff that I didn't feel comfortable
Telling my mom,
telling
right?
my mom,
Absolutely, right. I feel you.
that I told Mr. Vines or somebody else, and they were the person, and I knew they were going to tell, because that's why I told. I, as a kid, I used to get fake upset, like, "Oh, you told," but in the back of my head, it was like, "Thank you."
I'm glad you did. Yeah, it's a cry for help. In psychology,
to
they call
be
it cry for
honest,
help. Yep.
and not to put it out there like that. I know this was one of our big family secrets, but fuck it. That's how my mom figured out David was abusing me.
Mm-hmm. Because a teacher told. Yeah.
I looked at my teacher and I said, I ran and I don't want to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she called my mom.
And see, that's a great teacher right there. Because let me give you a personal story. I always talk about my epilepsy, right? I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm glad you said Miss Smith's name. And though she was the teacher that used to get on my nerves the most, I will respect her and Miss Reese forever because my
Yep.
parents saw me dazing out and stuff like that. But they thought I was just being like, you know, you were tuning us out, and I got beat for that. Miss Smith was the first one. Cause I'll never forget in her class one time I had to use the bathroom and I was seizing, but I didn't know what seizing was. I was just staring off into space. And Miss Smith said that she called my mom on her own. This is what good teachers do, and said, Miss Brown, I don't know what's going on with Josh, but sometimes he's like deliberately, not deliberately, but she'll say he'll daze off and stare off into space and not really know where he's at. She said, you need to go get him checked. Now, my parents, who's supposed to be the ones that, you know, being with me all the time, they noticed it, but didn't notice it was a problem. It took Miss Smith to say, Miss Brown, take him to a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like this is getting worse where he stares off longer and longer and longer. Had she not did that, bro, I could have been staring off in space, gotten to the shakes. I know you've even seen, and I could have probably died from that because nobody was paying attention. And it took one teacher, the teacher I really couldn't stand, to tell my mom, like, look, because she used to snitch to my mom about a lot of stuff, but you know, this was the thing. She put more effort into saying, kept calling the house, like not even because he's not doing his homework, but you need to get the doctor to check him out. See, that's what if you're gonna get personal with a student, you should do it for his personal well-being or her personal well-being. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with you 100% about confiding in teachers. And oh, hey Devin, you cut out, bro. But I'm gonna talk until you get back. And so, guys, me and Devin both gave a personal experience. That personal experience is what led to our belief system that we're leaving now about the thin line of, yes, it's cool to have a relationship with your teachers, and sometimes teachers need to be involved, like they're the next in authority. But we have to make sure there's responsible people in these positions, because remember, they're just teachers are just people at the end of the day, like police are just people, presidents are just people, but we got to make sure people are living up to the standards in which the positions they take. And the position of a teacher takes is to be the one to inform your student when the parents aren't around, because the first teachers of children are the parents, mothers and fathers. So when they're at work, the next in line, I'll say probably grandparents, stuff like that. But then the next one after that would be the teachers. So in my synopsis of this is um teachers should always have a certain level of regard towards the fact that these students, not just these students, these parents at home are depending on me to hold my authority of responsibility and position to not raise, but teach their children when they're not around. So I have to concentrate on the main goal. The main goal is to focus on what? Making sure these kids are educated. You know what I mean? Devin, you went out, bruh. Okay, I'm gonna play until he gets back. I'm gonna play the rest of the video, guys. Thank you for joining. My boy in Texas. I don't know if you wanted your name said, so I said I have to say my boy in Texas. You my brother. I love you. If you want to come on, I sent you the link as well. I didn't know if you wanted your name announced. That's the only why I'm doing it that way. But if you want to come on, if not, that's cool too. Maybe you have some stories you'd like to share or your thoughts on teachers and and their responsibility. And if you saw this, because I know you keep up with it. But I'm gonna play this video till I let Devin come back and my brother in Texas. If you want to decide if you're thinking about should I go, should I not, this is a good time to think about it. Come play the video, and we'll come back. And thank you once again for your attention. And all 141 subscribers, when y'all watch this on the playbook, I know y'all gonna watch it on different times. I really appreciate y'all. But if y'all want to leave a comment in the comment section, even after the show, please do so. All right, thank you. Oh, why is it not playing?
I just cut off. Our hands ain't good hands.
Another point, Lewis, when he says those students could get angry over something in the classroom, and then they will turn it against you.
These are kids. That's what they will do. They're children, and he has opened the door to that by filming it. They could very easily say after the phone video cut off, this is what happened, this is what he did, and now it's what his word against the child's. He's opening some very dangerous doors. He's undermining his authority. His job is to teach science for the entirety of his class. That is his job. As far as his relationship, I don't need him building a rapport. I don't need him getting to know my child. I'm sorry. As a parent, I don't. I need him teaching my child and for the entirety. I don't need time to say, well, but I'm going to let y'all.
Isn't teaching your child part of getting to know them and finding out where their deficiencies are, where their pluses are?
Yeah, absolutely. But you're not going to do that getting your hair unbraided. I can have him washing my car in the parking lot and saying, hey, I'm trying to build rapport with these kids.
But this is
sounds like free labor to me.
But let me say, this is not an ongoing thing. And by the way, two seconds, teachers, we appreciate you. It's the week of your appreciation. I thank you for everything you've done. Again, let me move on. It's not something that he's doing continuous. He's doing a lot of things with them, playing soccer, doing other things. So again, he is teaching. He's trying to bridge that gap. And yes, you gotta be careful, but you gotta make sure it's okay with the parent. You may have a problem with it, but another parent might not.
But that gap is not in his head. It's not on top of his head.
But he's doing both. And that's what I'm saying. Nobody's talking about he's pushing education. He's doing that and that. He's doing both. So again,
he even try to relate it to science. We even try to say this is symbiotism. It's not.
I would have took that before
because he didn't manage his time well enough to do it himself. This is a hygiene issue. Get your hair done at home on your own time. When you're taking taxpayer dollars, you teach my child.
And he did. His teaching is not the issue.
For the whole time.
But you got to teach from bell to bell. That's what they tell you.
From bell to bell.
So what would be next? They popping the pimples on his back?
He might have been all right.
See, and guys, just for this level of joking that they're doing, you see how it went from popping the pimples on his back and all that stuff that he just said? It shows me that I'm correct about this rabbit hole that gets open and we dive into when you play with risque, as that lady, I like her word that she uses. Real risky is what the word means, but risque, I like how she said that, because at the end of the day, it proves my point. that risky line is also the rabbit hole that goes into, well, it's okay to touch his hair. Why not touch his iguana? I didn't tell my cousin this, but that iguana was laying in his lap next to his dick. Okay, excuse me. God, forgive me, guys. See, I gotta control myself. I'm sorry, guys. Next to his phallus. I'm sorry, I don't have children, but if I had a child, I'll be very disturbed about a man who feels comfortable rubbing his iguana next to his phallus as if it's insinuating something. See, people have to pick up on symbolism. Symbolism and body language are the most effective way of communication because you can do it without using words, and without using words, you can imply stuff that's just as powerful as saying it with your words. I'll say it again, just so people can understand. Your body language and your symbolism, gestures you make, even when you see people do speech, you will hear them do this and do that to prove points. And while doing that, you will then understand that that's the most powerful form of communication. Not what you say, sometimes it's actually how you what imply stuff.
Yep.
David, I was just telling. I don't know if you heard anything I was saying. I was just telling the crowd that you feel me. Symbolism and body language are the most important ways of communication.
It
So,
most definitely is.
so if you put, let me ask you this, Devin. If you saw a video with a man sitting there with four girls, like I think about 4 or 5 girls doing his hair while his hand is on a iguana that's right next to his phallus, would you still think it's innocent that he was doing that?
Yeah, the weird part for me would be is why do you have iguana rubbing on an iguana? That'd be a little weird.
Hella weird. I'm like, what you even get a? But anyway, yeah. And so that's what I was telling the crowd is symbolism. Like some
But
people
then
say,
again, man, honestly, in wholeheartedness, I know people with pet rats, and it's like, why the fuck do you have a pet rat? But that's just what they're into, you know. So it's
that's
like I don't want to make a big deal out of everything being
mhm,
so icky because the world is becoming icky. You get me?
absolutely. Mhm.
Uh,
Got
yeah. So I don't, I don't know. It's it's weird.
Yeah, and see, you see how you ended that is you said it's weird, which means all the stuff that are innocent about it, it doesn't overweigh the fact that it's somehow like that
Oh
woman
wow.
said risky. Okay,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
okay, yes, yeah,
I was just looking for something and then I found it. And it was like, oh wow, it's right here.
right, funny. Right. I've done that too. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I was just saying, like, if anything is risky, as a matter of fact, Devin, I have to quote what you and Auntie, I have to say, Auntie Jenny said, it applies to the situation. Remember, you told me, you said, if I have to hide something or I'm not sure I probably shouldn't do it.
Yep.
That is the
Yo,
perfect.
your auntie
Yep.
drilled that
And
into me,
she
bro.
was right. Exactly. And she was right. And you know me, Devin, all that matters is if somebody's right or wrong. And your auntie was completely right on that. And that's my whole point. I'm glad you came up. See, that's why I'm glad I brought you on, because that's my exact point. If you know something is, or let's just say, even the Bible says, Paul says, if you're not sure about something is a sin or not, but you feel guilty about it, that's the spirit.
It's a sin.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not sure about it, it becomes a sin when you say it might be bad. If anything is might be, or it might this
It
or that,
could be.
it could be. That's the moment where I had to learn this too, to say, nope, just for my insurance and my salvation, because we're Christians, but just assured for my freedom as an American, I should probably not do this. Because he lost his job because of this. Let's just say it was innocent. Let's just say, because I had cool teachers that was cool with us. Like one of my favorite teachers' name is Mr. Bass. I love math today because of him. He used to joke with the kids, buy us pizza and all that type of stuff, but he never hugged us. He never did that, but he would stay after class and joke, and sometimes he would even bag with us. You know what I'm saying? But he still had this line of, I'm your educator and you are my student.
I remember. I know you know Mr. Harrison.
Of course. Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, he was extreme, but even he had a line. But my bad, go ahead.
No, that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, like Mr. Harrison. Devin, this is what this man used to do to me in his class. I'll never forget. I had him 7th period for I was making up either history class or something, and he used to always. And I kind of thank him for this now. It was weird then, but I thank him for. He was like, "You want to be down with them, Josh?" He used to call me out in front of class. He said, "You see this?" And he showed me his bullet wound. He'll raise up his shirt. And see, this is that risky thing. But see, I knew it wasn't gay. He was saying, "You want to be around the gang members?" I got cousins as gang members. I was a gang member. You see this? You get shot when you do this. This is so that could have been considered risky. And I didn't like it at the time. I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck what you. I don't have a concern about what you're saying. I'm saying I want to be with the homies. But see, you see how he wasn't trying to be perverted. He was trying to show me a lesson. Like, bro, my
Yep.
family is in banging, and I had to get away from becoming a teacher and stuff. So why do you want to go down that road? You see what I'm saying? So you see that? I understand. Even though that was risky, it had a greater good. But the way he presented it was on some like he kind of got at me like a gangster, like, "You want to do this, huh? You want to do it?" He lifted his shirt. "See this bullet wound?" Da-da. He didn't tell me to touch his bullet wound. He just said,
Right.
"Look at it." You know what I'm saying? And see if this is what you want for your life. So,
Yep.
Devin, I do want
Nah,
to show you.
his saying for me and Sean, because he'd see me doing the same
Yep.
stupid stuff you doing. But the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing he'd always see us with is the females. And
Right.
he said one day your dick gonna get long. He said your dick gonna get long enough to go up your ass. And I didn't understand what he was talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
then I ran into Alicia.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So, Mr. Harrison, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't I couldn't stand it, but he used to always target me. But I had to understand. Now that I'm 32, I understand what he was trying to do was saying, "Josh, you smart. You feel me? You this, you
Yep.
that, you ditching, you hang out with these dudes that have no real future. You do. And he was trying to say, I hung out with these type of dudes you're hanging out with, and they almost killed my future. You see what I'm saying? And they're my family members. So he got at me in a real aggressive way. And at that time I was beefing with my dad. So I felt like ain't no other nigga gonna tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If this man is supposed to raise me as being derelict in his duties, then who the heck do you think you are? But I'm glad he did it, because now look at me looking back. And that's why I try to be from like my girls' kids and stuff now, be that example and tell them stuff that it may. I don't come at them harsh, but I try to at least show them, like, I try to tell them words of wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, in life, you're going to go through this, and this. Like with my girl's son and stuff, I try to tell them it's not to put our business out there. If my girl's watching, I'm not trying to, I'm just giving us as an example of how I try to be a good example around the kids, because kids are watching. And sometimes it's not
Always
even so
watching.
much. So
Kids are
it's sometimes,
always watching. And
yeah,
even if
right.
you don't know that they're watching, they're watching.
Hey, Devin,
My
I
son
had to
does
learn that.
my son does things that I didn't notice that he was watching me do.
Mm-hmm.
So kids are always paying attention. Kids
Right,
are always listening. So the things that you say, it never really falls on deaf ears.
right.
Even when you're not talking to anybody per se, you're talking to yourself. They're
Uh-huh.
listening.
Yep. Oh, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
And it's even harder in a situation like yours because they see their mom as that standard.
Yep.
So my mom has now brought somebody around. I'm gonna pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very accurate, bro.
Right. And sometimes, bro, think about it. Yeah, our parents taught us stuff, but if you think about it, I mean, really sit and think about it, bro. A lot of the lessons we learned are from outside sources than our parents too. Because a
Yep.
lot of things like smoking, not smoking, I'm like hanging out with, but shout out to my homies that bang and stuff, because I know we grew up together. I love y'all. But a lot of stuff that I learned didn't come necessarily from my parents. We always talk about this, Devin.
Mm-hmm.
When I give lessons and stuff, I use I know it sound a little corny, but like I use like Batman. I use these different superhero movies because they taught me just as much or more than my parents actually did. That sounds weird, but it speaks to different people's perspectives, that we learn a lot from those that aren't our parents. So the people who aren't our family have, in a way, a greater sort of responsibility than just as much as our parents, because we're learning more from them. Because remember, we started school back when it was 7:50 to 4 p.m. That's almost
Mm-hmm.
7-8 hours. And then we with our parents from 4 to 9 o'clock or something. So that's 5 hours as opposed to 7 or 8. So we're learning more from the people around us
Than
than in our
anything.
actual home. So that's why we got to, and that's why with my girls' kids, I try to watch my words. I'll say different stuff when when we talk, I use big words and stuff. But when I'm with them, I try to use more basic words so they can understand the lesson. You know what I mean? And so,
Nah, still use those big words, bro. Increase their vocabulary.
right. But I have to make sure, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to tell you because you've been dealing with kids longer than me. But now that I'm dealing with, I have to. I learn with me because Devin, you know, a problem I've had, and even my girl pointed out, I could be right about something, but then the way I say it can either turn somebody off or they might miss the point. So I had to,
Your
alter.
tone,
Yeah, and I'm glad I met
your
those kids because they
tone
helped me. Yeah.
does that. It's not your word, it's your tone.
Mm-hmm.
Use those big words, because what
Okay.
kids do is they're gonna go, "What does that mean?"
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
they're either gonna look for themselves or they're gonna ask you. I'm teaching you dad things so you can have teachable moments when you become a dad.
absolutely, and that's what I'm doing. I'm
Make your
taking
kid
notes.
ask why.
Mm-hmm.
Make them ask why. Make them say what.
Mm-hmm.
That is
I kind of love that
encouragement
too because I can
for
inform them and stuff.
right. That is encouragement for teaching. Dom's ready to go to school because all he asks is what, why, how.
Right. Absolutely. Those are the most important questions to ask. Absolutely. 100%. But Devin, with these shows, what I start doing is I try to cover 3 topics to keep people's interest topics on 3 different current events.
Okay.
I'm gonna say if there anything else you want to say on this subject, because I'm gonna move on to my last one. I'm gonna try to keep them to about 20-30 minutes, if that even. But is there anything else you want to share on this particular subject?
Oh no, we're good.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement. As if there's any teachers watching, there's 141 people that's probably going to respond somewhere. Some people in there might be teachers by probability, so or by percentage. So let's just watch what we do around kids. I don't have children, but I'm around my girls' kids, and I try to make sure that I present a good example to the best of my ability. So let's just do that. Let's present kids with the best possible solutions to problems and how we do what set the example for them. Now, the next subject I'm talking about, I thought about you in particular. That's why, if you notice, the last couple of days I've been really on you. Like, Dev, you coming on the show? You coming on the show? Because you know why? Because there's a clip that made me think about you, and it says it's called Theo Von. He's like this white kind of like country dude. I'm pretty sure you've seen him. I'm trying to think of a movie he was in. You've seen him before, but I'm gonna play the clip on the screen, and it's something that reminds you, and I want your thoughts. Here we go.
Okay.
This is Theo Von. Ooh, okay. I don't know if you heard that. Whoa. Whoop. There we go. Let me. Okay, here we go. Now let's hear.
It's like you feel like nobody has you. And man, and I know, and especially when we're young, that's so, we can't even put it into words, but we can feel that. And I remember a lot as a child feeling that way. You know, just feeling like nobody has me. So that's why I think I was so hard on myself a lot of times, I think, because then at least it puts it on me, which was the only thing that I felt I could try and rely on anyway. That's the thing about being alone. It's not that you feel like you don't have anybody. It's like you feel like nobody has you. And
Okay, Devin, that part is the most, because he said a bunch of stuff, but that's the part I want us to concentrate on. Was like, you feel like you have others, but nobody has you. And I remember that brought me to the thought of what something you said about, basically, we have people's best interest in heart when it comes to them and their situation, but then when it comes time for us, somebody, because like me, you know me, you've seen me pour into a bunch of people that come to my house. You feel me? But then sometimes when I'm going through it, maybe it's because of my own privacy, but sometimes it's like, man, now I needed somebody to talk to, or no, sometimes I need an answer because I don't have all of them. There's nobody here for me. What do you think about that, Devin? Do you think that, because I know we've talked about it, but for the audience, do you think that that's a real thing, or do you go through that as well yourself,
Yep.
where you be like, man,
Yep.
I'm here for everyone
Yeah.
else, but they're not
Yep.
okay?
Yep. But what I had to learn is sometimes I don't know how to allow people to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And oof, you kind of tell you that's a sensitive spot, Josh. Yeah.
Okay, my bad, bro. I didn't mean to
But no,
overstep my
no.
boundaries.
It's it's hard to let people help you
Yeah.
when you're the help.
Mm-hmm.
Who does Superman call?
Right. Right. Absolutely. Is absolutely exactly
So
because.
and it's the Bible says you really only get 1 to 2 friends.
Right. Let me please say it, Devin. I gotta stop you. Say the Bible. Cause I read the scripture not too long ago. A man with too many friends comes to ruin. But he says, but to always keep just one person close as a brother. And if you read that story, bro, David tried to do what? Have a bunch of people that was his friend, but there was only one dude that had his real back, and that was Jonathan. And one of his other homeboys that he ended up, about to taking his wife and all that, and that was foul. But anyway, that's a long story for another day. But the point being is, David was saying that when you have so many friends, it can ruin you, which goes on to his other point that says a man. He says a man with too many friends comes to ruin, but it says bad company ruins good morals. So, but if you keep that one close as a brother, so he reiterated the point of too many friends can do what? Cause you to get the ruin and ruin your morals. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's my life.
Yep.
No,
Right, and I apologize if I made it because I wasn't trying to be insensitive, but I was just like,
bro,
man, Devin,
nah.
he'll know what I'm talking about on this. Yeah.
Okay, and I do.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things. You're not being insensitive because that's why we go through these things. You 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 can't show God if you heighten God.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't get the point of these testimonial things, but really, it's your life. It's the
Right,
thing
and
that
you know
you
what,
go
Devin?
through every day, and it's
Please. Oh, my bad. You
and
know what? Let me please stop you right there. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I had to stop you because you said a good point. I don't know if you saw. This is why I love talking to you. I don't know if you saw the Flash movie, but
no, I haven't.
because everybody hated on it, and it wasn't as bad as people said, and it could have been better. But one thing, not Bruce Willis, but the dude, Batman. One thing that Batman said, Bruce had said to Barry. Barry had said, well, I discovered how to go back in time and I could save my mom, my dad. I could save your parents, Bruce. You know what Bruce told him? He said, listen, he said, every scar on our life and everything we've been through develops us into the person and the people that we become. So said to go back and change things because all of us in life want to go back and change something that bad or traumatic that happened to us, but it shaped the people that we are today. And that goes to your point of what you're just saying. If you feel me, that our scars and what we've been through teaches us. Like when it comes to homies, there's a lesson I learned but refused to all the way accept about helping people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bruce's point was like the scars, we're supposed to learn from the scars and that's who we are. But at the same time, it's like we're supposed to learn from those lessons. I don't know if I said that exactly right, but
No, I got what you said.
it helps shape us. And me loving people helps shape to my character because I realize that's God's purpose. My problem is I have a problem with discerning who I should give my love and my concern to, as opposed to who appreciates it and doesn't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Right.
My bad, but yeah, you got something else to add to that?
Yeah, I mean that you hit the nail on the hammer with that one. But it's just like, yeah, I understand this guy's feelings way too much, man.
Right, because
Way
he's
too
like
much.
us, like where we give so much to other people and pour so much into people that God gives me the unlimited strength, but I pour so much into people. It's like, and Devin, I'm not gonna lie. There's times where is you know me, Devin, even better than anybody that's watching. Like I say when I talk, it seems like I have everything together. Here's the facts, here's the wisdom, and I be right about a lot of stuff. But then there's times where I get exhausted too. I'm like, damn, like I have questions. You know what I'm saying? Of course,
Right.
I ask God, but then it's like, because God also says to talk to other people that are like-minded like you. It's the body of Christ. So, so even I struggle with that. And so I felt like that sometimes, like, man, I pour into so many people, but I'm in a moment where desperation in the middle of the night where I need someone to pour in me. Not because I'm, continue with habits or something. Sometimes I'll be up at night just thinking to myself about certain stuff like, dang, I don't have all the answers. And I can admit that in front of everybody. I don't have all the answers. And sometimes I can even not panic, but like, damn, like what I need somebody. Like you probably remember a few years ago, um, I put a post on Facebook, kind of like on a distress type post. You feel me? Because I'm
Hmm.
like, man, who's gonna pour into me? Like I'm missing something now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That made me call you. I was in Arizona.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, or everything. And I appreciate that. I'm gonna play it again just so we can see, um, and get define, jump more into this. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and replay the. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Man, and I know when, especially when we're young, that's so
Okay, wait.
we
Let me
can't even.
start it over so we can watch. Uh, So another part in here he spoke on just right recent in it is he said it's not that you don't have other people, but you feel like nobody has you. And Devin, I know you always have me. You always have my back in everything, and I appreciate that. And I'll say it in front of 141 people. I love you, bro, and I appreciate you being there for me. But even in sometimes in life, sometimes when I had my own breakdown moments, even I know as much as you love me and I love you, it's like you can't be there at all times.
All right.
So it's like even though the people that do love me genuinely, even they have their own lives. You have kids, you got you got your situation. So I feel like let me not burden him with my problems. You feel me? Because I know he has even more problems, and I'm pretty sure he can give me a word of advice. Like Devin, you hear me quote a lot of stuff you said, even bring up show topics based off stuff you said. So I understand what Theo is saying. So when he says you feel like you have everybody, but nobody has you. I want to give clarification. Yeah, you always have my back, bro, and I appreciate that. It's just, and sometimes in moments, I'm pretty sure you go through this too, where it's like, damn, I'm exhausted. I need some gas. So who gonna gas me up? Who gonna be my Exxon, my Chevron, my, you know what I'm saying? When I'm depleted, because I'm not Jesus myself. I rely on Jesus. Of course, God gives me strength, but a lot of times I take the strength He gives me and pours it into other people. Do you feel that maybe that's probably what you do as well?
Like I keep saying, man, that's my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's my everyday life. And yeah, it gets tiring, but you do have to look up and lean on your support system more when moments like that happen. You can't isolate yourself and forget that you do have people, and people have you, and learn to accept the help
Mm-hmm.
because you're never a burden. Especially because I heard what you said. You're never a burden, bro. You're never a burden. I'm one of those people that's going to pick up. If I feel my phone vibrate, I'm going to pick up at 3, 5, 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I'm asking is how many bodies need to be buried.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? Because it does be a lot of time. I'm not gonna lie, again, I haven't always shared that. I think I told you before, but I haven't always shared that. Like I could talk to Kanisha and all these other people, even you and Rob and everybody else. But then sometimes there be moments like I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Jesus myself. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I can always pray, but sometimes in our moments of and God always answers. But sometimes, like I said, in those personal moments, sometimes there's times where like not that you
That's
panic, but oh, go ahead.
no, yeah, you do panic, and that's a human emotion. Jesus didn't want to get on the cross.
Right. That's what people miss. Like people miss the Garden of Gethsemane. Like Jesus was strong. Because Devin, for since the beginning of the year and late last year, I've been studying the first 4 Gospels. There's a lot of stuff they don't preach about Jesus. Like Jesus had a moment in Gethsemane where he asked God, "Take this cup away from me." What he was talking about is, God, I know you sent me to die for the sins, but there was a moment Jesus was like, "I don't want to really do this." You feel me? Like God, I'm scared. Like even Jesus said, pretty much was saying that's what he was saying. I'm scared. But he said, nonetheless my will, but your will be done. That's easier said than done. A lot of times I
Yep.
take that approach to God, whatever you say. But sometimes, let's be real. Sometimes things get
It's
hectic. Like, damn,
yep.
like, like I trust you, God, but now I'm in a moment of kind of a season of not panic, but like
of
Man.
weary,
Hmm.
of being weary.
Hmm. And then this is what I have to remember of what God, Jesus also told us. He said, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy burdened, for I'll give you rest, and place your burden upon me." You see, these scriptures I use, they empower me, but I'm just talking about in the moments of weakness. Because even the Bible says they're going to have moments of weakness. We're supposed to rely. But then it also tells us to do what? Congregate with other believers, because they're going to remind you. And that's why I always like to bring you on. That's why I even made the offer in your Instagram when I sent that. So, that's how serious I am. Sometimes I get worn out. Relationships, friendships,
Yep.
people, brotherhoods, it can get exhausting. A
It's
lot
it's
of people.
it's a social battery,
Mm-hmm.
and to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you, especially ever since the passing of mom, my social
Mm-hmm.
battery is very low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have as big of a social battery. I don't like to be outside like that anymore. I
I feel you.
enjoy the comfort of my house
Of my own home, right? Right.
because like it. I'm the oldest out of all my brothers, and you know that. And
Mm-hmm.
especially with that, it's hard being an older brother. It's hard being a dad to 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 go from to having to walk my brother through an aspect of life to walking my other brother through an aspect of life of me leaning on my youngest brother while my youngest brother leans on me and taking care of my. It's hard. That
Yeah.
shit. It gets hard, bro. But you have to recharge your social battery
Mm-hmm.
every day. And you have to, like I said, well, I'm leaning on my brothers are leaning on me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about knowing who's gonna hold you up and allowing
Absolutely.
them to hold you up. Because like I said in the beginning of this, the reason why we don't feel like we have anybody is because we're always the one they come to.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
so I don't since I'm the help, I don't know how to be the need. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm the fixer, I can't be broken.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And I think
we
there's a
have to.
middle. Oh, go ahead.
Yep, there's a middle ground. There is a
Mm-hmm.
middle ground, and we have to see that middle ground, and we have to start identifying the cracks in our armor because there are cracks
Mm-hmm.
in everyone's armor.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's what brings me back to that scripture about it says of David, who Jesus' bloodline came through. He even said, like I always quoted, a man with too many friends comes to ruin. But let's bring that, but only keep one as close as a brother. Here's the thing: what it is a man with too many friends. Now I get what, because I was, as much as I quote that scripture, I should have been putting it into practice more. Because when you pour into a lot of people, that's the thing. When you pour, that's what it's saying. You will come to ruin by always trying to look out for everybody you call your friend. But then everybody you call your friend really ain't your friends, and that's one thing my mommy was just saying. And I used to get mad. But you know what makes us get mad in those moments
That they're
is that a
right.
part of us knows our parents right. You get what I'm saying? Like, this ain't your friend. I did it, but we're not ready to face the reality because, like, well, he hadn't
Hmm.
screwed me over yet. Or if he did screw me over, he was going through something. Or, since we're the strongest people, we like, well, like with me, like sometimes people do stuff out of desperation. I'm like, okay, you did me like that out of desperation. That's still wrong, but I'm
Yep.
not mad at you because I'm not greater than you, but I have a greater sense of tolerance and a greater sense of right and wrong that I'd be like, okay, I'll give you the pass. But then that I had to realize those type of passes in those situations is what drains you because you have too many people. Think when you have so many friends, you're pouring into each one of them, and it's like, dang, what I'm losing strength. But if you this is another part of that scripture, if you pour into the right ones, meaning one person said keep one brother close. When I know when I pour into you or anybody else I consider a brother, when I'm down, you could pour that back into me so we restore each other, as that is the will of God. You see what I'm saying? And I had to put that in order because you hear me use that scripture a lot, but I had to because God said to love your brothers, love your enemies, but everything comes with discernment. Another teaching of David by the power of the Holy Spirit. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, Devin. Yeah, I ain't gonna keep you all day. Is there anything you want to say more on this subject, or you want to continue on with
Uh,
this?
that no, I honestly said all I could on that one. That
Okay.
one hit me right in the kisser.
right, right. The old Family Guy reference. But yeah, bro, that. Those were the topics for today. Um, would you like to go back to the teacher, or you said this one you are done with, but you pretty much summed up everything you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, I mean, unless you want to go back to the teacher, but I'm pretty sure we've crossed that bridge.
Okay, yeah. So
I
yeah,
don't think
I
we should
pretty
beat a
much said
dead
I had.
horse, you know.
Right, exactly. And I had to work on that with my shows because even my girl's telling me, like, keep going over the same subject over and over and over again. I'm like, yeah, but that's the topic, baby. But I've been trying to, but I took her advice. Okay, maybe I should limit it
Yeah,
each
yeah,
one to a certain amount of time. You know what I'm saying? And then we're
yep.
about an
But
hour
call
and
me, call me after this, and we'll talk about that. Me and you could talk about that.
okay, absolutely.
Now, but
Absolutely.
actually, call me, man.
All right, no, this time I will. Sometimes I be getting caught up in some different little shit, you feel me? But this time I will. I will. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, and shout out to my brother in Texas. And Devin, I want you to come on the line one time when he's online because this is my brother at Job Corp. Love him to death. He supports even when everybody else was like, "I'm too busy." He'll be at work and still turn on. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be
Yeah.
my boy. I don't know if he want his name said right now.
Yep, yep.
I'm just respecting that, but shout out to him. I know he's watching. Shout out to you, bro. I love you. And because I love you, that's why I haven't said your name, because I just respect your own sense of privacy. But thank you so much. And for the other 141 subscribers, y'all don't understand. I pray puts it in your hearts how much I appreciate it. And God puts it in your heart, Devin, how much I appreciate it. All right. Thank you guys for joining me on JB Speakeasy. Devin, we're going to have our own private discussion. Thank you guys for joining me on JB Speakeasy, the black platform where black men speak freely. I am your host, JB9 Deuce. This is my cousin, Dev Book, D Book. Oh yeah, Devin, is there anything you got going on in your life you want to promote on here while you're on? You gotta because you told me
Everything's
about it.
coming soon. You guys will find out soon.
Okay, cool. I want them to support you too. I'll transfer them right over to you. All right, for sure. All right, then, y'all. God bless you. I love you guys all. Devin, God bless you. And I love you as well. Y'all have you a
Brother.
good day. Still keep your faith in Jesus Christ. And if you don't know Jesus Christ, I'll give you the pill to discipleship, which if you don't have a Lord and Savior, please accept mine as your Lord and Savior. Because when it comes to Christ, that's the one who gives me, Dev, my boy in Texas, power is God. All right, take care, guys. This is JB9 Deuce, representing JB Speakeasy, the black platform Black Men Speak Freely. I'm your host, JB9 Deuce. Y'all be blessed and have a good day.